My parliament, my planet. My name is Jacqueline Amongin. I'm a member of parliament from Uganda, and I also represent Uganda in the East African Legislative Assembly. I chair a subcommittee on environment and climate change, but at the continental level, I'm a Secretary General of the African Network of Parliamentarians on Climate Change. So Uganda is one of those countries that are vulnerable to climate change in the globe, just like many other African countries. So most of the countries in the world, Uganda is affected with climate change in different ways. And we have faced floods. Actually, we have 2 seasons every year. And then we also have droughts, long droughts, that actually people are having no food because they cannot cultivate, aware that 70% of Uganda's population is employed in the agricultural sector. So these are some of the effects of climate change on the environment, not only in Uganda. If I talk about the East African region, Burundi is affected in the same way. Rwanda was affected in the same way. Kenya was affected in the same way. So I'm now talking about the East African community. So when you look at all the 9 countries within the region of East African community, the effects are the same across, and this region or this country, Uganda, is not any different from the rest of the countries in the globe. So our call to action as members of the parliament participating in the 29th Conference of Parties in COP, and also organized activity by the Interparliamentary Union, we are harmonizing voices globally so that we influence positions, legislations, and address the gaps within the member states in terms of addressing climate change and also prioritization of climate change legislations. Majority of the African countries do not even have legislation in regards to climate change. Kenya was the first parliament, followed by Uganda, that enacted its climate change law in 2019. And then, of course, other countries have followed suit, like Nigeria. So far, we have a total of 8 countries out of the 54 member countries of the African Union that have come up with law on climate change. And therefore, as a niche of legislators, our niche is on the legislations, making laws on behalf of the people. It's important that after this IPU, as a network of parliamentarians on climate change in Africa, our resolve is to ensure that different members of parliament go to their respective parliaments and initiate legislations to address climate change, but also to address carbon credits, because now there's this talk about carbon credits, but there's no regulation in place. So at this COP, our expectations are clear. We expect that the global leaders address their concerns in regards to tripling financing to climate change, but also calling upon the global leaders, especially the global polluters, to fulfill the annual pledges made at the different COPs in terms of actualizing implementation of climate priorities in the different member countries.